robust urban garlic flavor.
Guys, I was serious about the support. Come on, Truck Sim is always the stream where we get tons of support and we hit the goal, and that's why I do it every week. If we don't hit a goal, we're not doing it this next week. We're not. And I really enjoyed doing it. I think we always have a great time with Truck Sim. I have no clue why things would be different tonight, so please, let's get some momentum going.
DSP is the king of redundancy, so he gets the notification that he can play the Tokon Closed Beta Friday night on his stream. He gets annoyed by that, so on his daily wrap, he does a whole rant about it, but then when he comes back on Sunday on his podcast, the first thing on his mind is the beta. Congratulations, Phil. You really showed Kat you loved her by choosing to not play a game for 2 hours. So let's see what Phil has to say, because he's salty that he couldn't stream this and get money off of it.
People, this is NFL weekend. I guess the NFL began today in the United States. That's the National Football League, our football, not worldwide football, but our domestic football.
Yeah, the odd thing is that DSP doesn't follow football at all, but a couple years ago he had a football game marathon. It was very cheesy.
And everyone's going crazy talking about, oh, I'm eating wings and drinking beer and watching the games. Yesterday was my wife's birthday. I spent the entire day with her. We were out and about doing a million different things. We went to one of her favorite restaurants and got a nice, delicious dinner.
See, Philip, you could have streamed it before dinner. Congratulations on going to a nice place, Phil. Hopefully it was sushi or something.
Had some wine together at the end of the night. So it was a nice day for me. For other people, it was Tokon Day. Huh? Well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a new fighting game coming out next year, and it's from ArcSys, the people who had made Dragon Ball FighterZ, Guilty Gear, and BlazBlue. It had a beta yesterday only. It was a closed beta only for 36 hours. It started 9 p.m. on Friday night and ended this morning at 8 a.m. Okay? Well, should I talk about this now? Why not? I was in it, because I registered for it like weeks ago. They had announced, oh, registrations for this beta. So I'd signed up for it, but when I did, you had to do it through this weird link. Usually, if you want to sign up for a beta, you would go to like a website and fill out a web form saying, you know, your name, your preferred platform, if you have like a YouTube channel, all that stuff. This had none of that. This was click here, log into your PlayStation Network account, which of course I have a long-standing PSN account, put in your details, and that's it. I didn't get an email saying confirm that you're registered for it. We'll let you know. Nothing. It just. So I had no idea that the beta was even going to happen or that I was going to get into it. I was streaming on Friday night, my Friday Night Fight stream. They emailed me to tell me that I was in the Tokon beta while it was already live. That sounds like good timing, doesn't it? Like, tell someone in the midst of a very limited timed beta that you're in the beta. Why not tell me like 3 days early so I can plan for it?
Here's the funny thing, and I only found this out because of a commenter. IGN actually had an article about the beta from a month before, and it told you what the dates for the closed beta were going to be. So Phil didn't do his research. He wasn't aware. And why he's complaining about the hours is a 36-hour time limit, but it was probably like a worldwide or like Japan and US beta, because Japan's time zone, they're a lot farther ahead than we are, so that's why it ended at some weird time like 8 a.m. in the morning his time, because it's probably night over in Japan or something like that. All right, so they're 17 hours ahead of Phil's time zone, so that means they ended 1 a.m. their time Monday morning.
No, tell me while the beta's going on. It wouldn't have mattered anyway, because I was going to spend time with my wife for her birthday. I don't give a crap about the Marvel Tokon beta. My wife's way more important to me than this random fighting game.
Phil, it's really apparent to tell that you're lying because the amount of profanity you use. Whenever you use that, that means you're angry. You're not happy that you weren't able to monetize this closed beta. If you had known earlier what the dates were, you probably would have made it work where you could have streamed this for 2 or 3 hours on Saturday. But you couldn't monetize it, so instead you'll try to monetize it by complaining about how you lead such an unfortunate life and everybody needs to pity you and give you their money right now. And I kid you not, since he rarely ever streams streams on Saturdays, he probably thought he couldn't do an impromptu stream because he couldn't tell his dents 24 times that he was playing the beta. So he's like, well, I'm just gonna take the day off regardless. Let me tell you, if he was streaming the beta, he would have probably had the same amount of viewership or even an increased interest because it was a closed beta. But Phil doesn't think like that. He's just gonna use the excuse of his wife's birthday. Now, that may have actually been the case, but I think it's because he's so rigid in his schedule that he thought he wasn't gonna make money off of it if he streamed it on Saturday. Because the last time he streamed on Saturday, about a month ago, he didn't hit goals because he claimed people didn't know he was streaming on Saturday despite him telling them constantly. I guess the downside of Phil giving his fans 10,000 updates is maybe some of them just tune them all out.
But a 36-hour limited window for a closed beta is probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and that's the dumbest beta that's ever been held. I have never in my life heard of a beta that you have to give up an entire day of your life, no matter what, no chance to get into it later. You play it or just skip it and miss out. Huh?
So you're telling me that you would have spent 12 hours playing this closed beta? You couldn't carve out time when you have the most flexible schedule ever? It's just you and your condo. You're setting your own rules. You could have honestly hawked a cat and did 2 hours streaming this. Like, he seriously could have started his time 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. Stream it for 2 hours and say, hey, I need a double goal to keep playing this. Then I need a triple goal to keep playing this for an extra hour after that. And if the support comes, you keep playing it. If the support doesn't, well, you stop it and then you spend the rest of the day with your wife. Apparently a beta means that he must drop entirely everything.
So I can't have a life? I can't, actually have like responsibilities or a schedule. You're just supposed to, you're going to send me an email during the beta, so I couldn't even prepare for it. And you expect me to now just change everything in my life for your fighting game.
So I wonder with other people that were in this beta if they received additional emails or not. Because maybe Phil missed something. I mean, if IGN had an article about it a month ago with the exact times, maybe there's another piece of the puzzle here that we're not seeing.
How about this? No. I'm not going to do that. My life is more important to me than your fighting game. If you actually want me to care, you should actually tell me ahead of time. You should actually allow me to plan. You should actually respect my time as a gamer and not try to act like you're more important than me. Because you're not.
I feel like H-Bomb is going to put the child filter on this because this just sounds so childish and stupid from Phil. It's not like he had a trip all planned out. It was just him taking his wife to dinner. Yeah, this is one of my pet peeves of mine where people can't make the distinction of I don't have time versus I don't want to make the time, because that's the reality. Most of the time, it's people not wanting to make the time. And in Phil's case, this is probably the reality.
Sorry, Marvel Tokon. Anyway, so I had a great day, and the entire fighting game community dropped everything to play it. I'm serious. They did. Like, oh, well.
So Phil thinks that the people who are in this beta decided to spend 36 hours straight playing this fighting game. I don't think that's what happened. I think they got some sleep in, I think they got some meals in, and I think they played it periodically. They probably got a good 6 to 12 hours of games in, but I'm not making the case that they were just devoting everything just because. You know, and a lot of them are streamers like you too, Phil, and they probably made bank streaming this beta. How does that make you feel? I'm sure it makes you feel very salty.
Because this is all we do. All our eggs are in one basket. So we've got to drop our lives and change all our schedules around because we got into this beta. So they did.
Honestly, I think Phil misses those days where he would just play video games 12 hours a day, not have any interactivity with his fans, and make tons of money doing it. I think that would make him the most happy.
And they played it in the 36 hours, and I saw quite a few people play it.
Wait, I thought you were spending time with your wife. How did you have time to watch it? Did she want to watch fighting games? Did you spend like 8 to 11 your time? You woke up early and just consumed a lot of fighting game content before you got on this podcast? These are actually really important, juicy details, Philip. Or did you stay up Friday night and watch people play it? Like, seriously, if you weren't streaming it late Friday night, you probably should have just played it to get impressions. Apparently, that was too difficult, and you're instead going to take the route of just complaining about it. Or maybe you did get some of the gameplay in, but you don't want to admit it because you're like, oh, I'm gonna show off and show everybody that I love Cat because I didn't play a stupid video game. He's just so stupid the way he thinks about things, and that just makes him 100 times more salty. And the thing is, he would never play the game, record it, and then post it because he knows it would get at best 1,000 views, and he'd probably get like $1 or $2 from those hour-long playthroughs that nobody watches.
Including, what's that guy, Diaphone, the guy who had actually made a video regarding my Street Fighter 6 play early on during the run of Street Fighter 6 2 years ago. He actually won a tournament in Tampa, Florida, which is kind of cool. He won basically the first tournament for the game. You know, throwbacks to back when new releases would come out. Like, remember when Super Street Fighter 4 came out and I entered a midnight tournament for it at a game store and I won with DJ? It's kind of cool to see people, you know, day one be hype. I saw Justin Wong play. I saw Nerd Josh play. I saw Sonic Fox play, okay?
Well, it sounds like you were able to carve out an hour somewhere watching them. So it's like you couldn't carve out an hour live streaming it and then watching them like this week or anytime before there's a second beta or when the game comes out. Like, Phil, you don't think properly. Or maybe you're just trying to justify your own nonsense. Because this is what it is. Phil puts out BS, and he's like, oh, I have to over-explain everything about how this works and why it makes sense, even though it absolutely doesn't.
So, just watching a few different videos, here's my impressions, okay? It's definitely the kind of game that's going to get hype. It's big, flashy combos, big explosions, giant damage, okay? It's what people like to watch. I'm just going to emphasize that. It's what people like to watch.
Here we go again, Phil being the gatekeeper of the fighting game community and saying that every new fighting game is bad because they're trying to make it popular for more people to play it. Congratulations, Phil. You are totally the boomer of the fighting game community. The times have passed you by. You can go cry about it over a snack pizza.
But this really harkens back to me, to the days of Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and or even Dragon Ball FighterZ, where it seems like if you can get one hit in, you can capitalize and get an insane combo. I actually saw someone with Ms. Marvel get like an 80% combo that was like dash up 3 attacks into a assist that created almost like a wall bounce state. Then she did another 3 attacks into a super. It was 80% damage.
Isn't the thing with fighting games is that these skilled players can rattle off tons of combos? Like, I don't know what the concern is with that, if it's justified or not from Phil's point of view.
What the it's supposed to be a fighting game. Why are you losing 80% of your character to one simple combo? It wasn't even like, oh, a counter hit combo, you know. No, it was a simple combo, like assist, super. 80% damage.
Well, maybe you should give Sony your feedback if you think that's the case. Maybe that was one of the things they were testing in the beta. Who really knows, Philip? All we know is that the game isn't coming out yet, so maybe they're going to be asking people behind the scenes what they thought, or watching these videos and have people go through it and be like, okay, this is what we need to improve with it.
In addition, some of the stuff that I've seen, the game looks a little bit more slow than I would have expected. Like, you know, recently we had the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. And so everyone was playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2. The game looks slower than MVC 2. The game kind of looks like it's meant for online play, meaning they built it for rollback netcode.
Well, yeah, Phil, most of the fighting games, the gamers are going to be playing against other people online, so that's going to be a heavy focus. It's not like 20 years ago where Wi-Fi wasn't really there and it was mainly Ethernet. So you're not playing with your buddies anymore, you're playing with people across the country, across the world. Deal with it.
So what does that mean? It means there's going to be pattern play. It means there's going to be simpleton gameplay, easy input, everything easy to execute, nothing tough to do. It just looks like it's a baby zone game. I'm sorry, it looks like it's made for play schoolers.
Does somebody want to tell Yellow Paint Burnell that he is the poster child in every other genre of gaming of wanting clear and specific directions, being handheld, how to play this game and how to do it this certain way? And fighting is like, no, it can't be easy. I can't button mash, even though when I'm playing a game, I probably button mash anyway. Congratulations, Philip. Nobody takes you seriously.
Now, it looks hype. Meaning, there's going to be big flashy combos. People are going to want to see the superheroes beat the out of each other. But it doesn't, to me, look like a competitive fighting game that's going to be like something from you know, yesteryear where there was actually challenge and skill involved. It's just going to be online pattern play again. That's what it looks like to me.
I don't know anything about fighting games, but it seems to me that Phil just says that these games in the past had more skill because he was good at them. And with the new ones that people are actually playing, since his reaction time is slower than it was 20 years ago, he's not as good. He's going to complain about the lag and why the games aren't catered to him.
Now, again, this is one day of people playing it. They already figured out 80% damage combos, ridiculous strings. Like, basically what it looks like to me is Dragon Ball Fighters with a skin and with some different mechanics when it comes to the assists. Okay? Because there's the stage transitions. A lot of people are very critical of these stage transitions, saying they don't really like them. And that they're basically kind of jarring to the game. Some people are saying the animations are too long, like super animations take forever. And again, it seems like that's because for a crowd, you want the crowd to react when something like that. Again, it seems like this is a crowd pleaser game. This is a game that may have been made, that it's a stream hype game, that when you're streaming it or you're playing it in a tournament, everyone's excited. But when you actually play it, it's just not that good.
Wow, Sony made a game to sell copies of the game. Who would have thought, Philip?
Again, I harken back to MVC3, where at first I was hyped for it, and then within that first year of playing it, I just hated it. Like, dude, I don't want a game where every time I get hit, I lose an entire character. Or I activate X Factor, and now I kill your entire character. I thought that that was awful for competitive play. So, it's rough, man. It's rough for me. I mean, if I was a modern FGC player, and all I knew were modern fighting games, like Marvel and Dragon Ball and Street Fighter 5 and 6, I'd probably be like, oh, I'm so hyped. But I've played better games.
All right, Boomer, the times have passed you by. You just don't want to admit it.
I just played Marvel 2 in the Marvel 2 collection. That, to me, looks like a better game. But these are not the opinions you will hear from the fighting game community. I just want to make this abundantly clear.
Yes, because you want to be a crotchety old contrarian because you hate most people in the fighting game community and are extremely jealous of them. Because you are persona non grata because you were such a toxic idiot when you were playing these tournaments that nobody really wants to deal with you.
There are people out there who agree with me on stuff like this, but you'll never hear people in the fighting game community talk about it. Why?
Because they've adapted to these types of games and the formats and are able to hang on competitively while Phil is crying in a corner because his glory days are well behind him.
Well, let's see. I got into the Marvel Tokon Beta and I streamed it and I had record high viewer numbers. Everyone was supporting my stream and I made a whole ton of bucket load of money. Right?
And where were you, Philip? Where's your bucket of money? Oh, wait, you couldn't do it because you had to pretend you were spending 20 plus hours with your wife.
So obviously I'm not going to criticize the game. I'm going to say it's the best fighting game ever so that I can make money. And that's a big difference between back in the day and today. Because back in the day, there was no money to be made.
Phil, you do realize you can trash games and make money on them too. The key is you have to be entertaining though and not a toxic idiot like you are.
I'll say that again. Back in the day, there was no money to be made. If you were a competitive fighting game player, you did it for the love of the game. You did it because you enjoyed the games, not because you were going to make a bucket load of money streaming the game.
Oh my god, Phil is going to be not only gatekeeping the fighting game community, but gatekeeping live streaming. Phil, you are such a hypocrite. We all know that most of the games you play, you do not like to play them. You only play them because you get money for doing so. So wipe that smirk off your face, because we know you are absolutely full of it. You are just ranting because you think it makes you seem all high and mighty in front of your fans, but the reality is it makes you look like a salty, childish rat.
Get it? So, because of that, the entire FGC is kissing this game, even though me watching, I'm like, it doesn't look that good.
Yeah, but egotistical streamers that their claim to fame is finishing 4th place in a tournament that was boycotted because the version of the game was bugged 20 plus years ago is not the target demographic of these games, Phil.
Again, it really strongly reminds me of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which I didn't like. So here we are over a decade later, and it looks like it's a different company releasing a very similar game. And because we haven't had Marvel in a while, it's probably going to do well. I would bet it might even be the biggest fighting game of next year. I'm going to go on record, and I'm going to say it early. I think that Marvel Tokon will likely be the biggest fighting game of 2026. It's going to beat the Invincible game. It's going to beat that 2x KO joke of a game. It's going to be everything. Even Street Fighter 6, I feel like it might surpass Street Fighter 6. Why? Because it's Marvel characters and because it has a hype-looking gameplay that when you stream it or you play it in tournament, it's flashy. That doesn't mean that it's going to be amazing. All right? But that you won't hear that from the FGC for the most part. I am overgeneralizing. But if you see these people that are absolutely freaking out about the game, it's like, so what exactly is great about the game?
I wonder when he gets his hands on this game and starts playing it, will his mind change when he makes bank off of it? Or maybe he's putting it out there right now to condition his fans to not support the game when it comes out so he can easily wage quit it quickly so he doesn't look foolish getting his butt kicked online.
Can you explain in detail what is so amazing about this game? Well, I'll tell you what's amazing about the game. You had a great amount of viewers and you made a lot of money. That's what was great about the game.
And that is DSP's criteria for games that aren't fighting games. If it gets him a ton of money, he loves it. If he gets not much, he hates it.
It doesn't look that good to me. And again, I'm not the only one. It's just the people who have this mentality are old school players who have played better, but they're not prominent in the modern FGC. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they probably stopped playing fighting games 10 plus years ago.
A ton of the people from my generation retired on purpose. They said, we don't want to play Modern Fighters. They suck. So they just stopped playing. Some of them now are part of the tournament scene where they run tournaments or they even run arcades or they do stuff like that, or they just outright retired and don't play anymore. But, you know, in general, these modern fighting games are not it. That's why I've been playing CVS 2 for months.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Phil. Game genres change and evolve. So it's going to bring new people in and some people are going to be squeezed out. It sounds like you're an old timer who is clinging to the old things. And the new things are coming in and you don't like them.
And we're going to talk about that today because sadly, I hate to say this, we may be taking a break from fighting games. All right, we're going to talk about basically each game on my schedule and talk about what's going on currently with fighters.
Yeah, the short story is he's not getting enough support on Capcom. He's having difficulty finding matches, and even though people want him to play Street Fighter, he refuses to play it because his ego will get hurt if he loses too many matches. That's it in a nutshell.
Because Friday night stream was not satisfying to me in any way, and I want to talk about that. You know, it sucks.
So do I think Phil spent 36 hours straight with his wife? No. Do I think he played the game? I don't know. It's possible. If he was playing it, he probably should have streamed it, but he's just massively salty because he couldn't make bank off this beta. The funny thing is, the IGN article was there. He could have just researched it. It would have taken him 5 minutes, and he probably would have found it. Like, I'm very skeptical that Kat needs 24/7 attention on her birthday. Sorry, I just am. I think Phil just used that as an excuse. And the thing is, he made such a big deal about it that now people are gonna dig into it and they're just gonna mock him for it. And the funny thing, he doesn't start off this podcast with what he did with his wife on the birthday. He starts it off by ranting about the fighting game community. So, you know, Phil's priorities are always about complaining. It's just where he is with the satisfaction of his life so far. So that is Philip Paul Burnell complaining that things are changing and he's not gonna adapt with them, which is the story of his YouTube/streaming career in a nutshell. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of this video, and I will see you all next time. Be sure to like and subscribe on your way out.
My hand is hurting.